जय दोस्तों, एक बार फिर आप सभी को स्वागत कर रहे हैं www.mw.live.ca पर। अभी से लेके ऑलमोस्ट घंटा आप सभी के साथ डिस्कशंस होगी हाउसिंग इश्यूज़ के बारे में, और किस तरह से हमारे सोशल एडवोकेट जाना मार्टिन डील कर रही है हाउसिंग इश्यूज़ के लिए। उसे भी आप तक ज़रूर पहुंचाएंगे। हेलो जाना, हाउ आर यू
Hello.
डूइंग?
I'm doing well, thank you for having me.
Jana, I know that it has been a while that we haven't spoken. We haven't addressed to our listeners what's going on. What's going on with your housing issue right now, which you are having issues that the housing ministry, or they were not
Yeah.
actually listening to you?
Yes, they're not actually.
Uh-huh.
Wednesday, February 21st at 1 p.m., they
Mhm.
have the right to throw all my belongings in the garbage. And they have refused to decontaminate my
So they
belongings.
do not want to
They do not want to do it. No, they're refusing. Absolutely 100% refusing. They said that if I sign my heirs' rights away,
Mhm.
then they'll do it. And I cannot in good conscience do that.
How long are you been actually dealing with this now, Jana?
Over 4 years.
4 years.
January 6th it was 4 years.
So for 4 years, they are not doing this and not giving your belongings, and the space for the last 4 years is empty.
Yes. No, the unit, I moved out of that unit. I transferred to a different unit in the end of December 2022.
Uh-huh.
And then I sent emails again, because I have a whole bunch of them, asking if they're going to decontaminate my belongings so I could bring them to my new unit, so it would be safe and healthy for myself,
Mhm.
for the fellow tenants,
Yes.
for city workers, delivery drivers, staff, anybody that came to that building. I wanted to ensure their health and safety. And the executive directors put in an email that he would investigate and then provide me with a fulsome response.
Mhm.
He himself has not provided me with a fulsome response. And then in June, 2 days after a news article came out about a class action that was launched,
Right.
they sent me an email saying if I didn't go get my stuff, they were going to throw it out. And they put it in storage. They denied me the right to go and be there. I asked to be there while they went through our belongings. Because those are personal belongings.
Yeah, of course,
Very
yeah.
personal, baby pictures, baby photos.
And I believe there's some things which your mother has given to you.
Yes, exactly. And family members that have passed away that I can't get back because they're gone. And those are our personal items.
Right.
And I don't think it's right that I was denied, and my children were denied the right to be there while people went through their drawers and went through their personal stuff. I don't even know if they packed everything up. I don't know if they took stuff, because in the list that they gave, some of the was put in as miscellaneous. So what is miscellaneous? They're supposed to give a detailed, itemized report of everything that they touched, everything that they packed, everything that they moved, and many of it said miscellaneous.
Mhm.
So what is that miscellaneous, and did they take it, and where did it go?
And you don't know where they
And
are.
yeah, well, I know, but I don't know where the miscellaneous is, and I don't know why they would put miscellaneous. It was supposed to be itemized,
Yes.
cataloged, and they didn't do it. It just says miscellaneous, miscellaneous, miscellaneous.
Mhm. Wow. So you have been struggling for the last 4 years to get this done.
Absolutely, and it's a service that they have provided to other people. They've provided it to tenants of Ladner Willows who are living in mold. They provided the service to tenants that were living in Sinala over in Nanaimo who were living in mold and vermin. But they have denied me that exact same service.
Why do you think, Jana, they have denied you?
I think they have denied me because I have been brave enough to stand up for myself and say this isn't right. And I think I'm being retaliated against because of that. Because it makes no sense why they wouldn't provide me with the exact same service that they provided other people, especially because I have medical equipment. That medical equipment needs to be mold free. I've provided them with a mold report that states that there's mold in the house, needs to be mold free, and several doctors' letters, because I have a team of doctors. So I have several letters from several doctors saying that the home needs to be mold free, my medical equipment needs to be mold free, it needs to be decontaminated, and they've ignored it all. And I went to the RTB because I had no other choice, because the Human Rights Tribunal is taking years. Come
Yes.
May, it'll be 4 years since I filed a human rights case. And
Wow.
they're so backlogged that it could take years. So I had no choice but to go to the RTB. And I provided over 130 pages of evidence: mold report, doctor's letters, photos of the mold, letter from the woman that used to live in my unit that had a flood, letter from Keely Severinson from Exposing Mold, who's an expert in the field, a letter from MLA Ian Payton, over 130 pages of evidence, including my mold report. And they provided emails between me and Mr. Faulkner and Red Door and Bailey, where I'm stating that my belongings aren't abandoned, that they need to be decontaminated for the health and safety of my family, the health and safety of the building I now live in. And they provided a mold report that they had done after I had moved out, after they had done work in the building, in my unit, former unit. I know that they had done work in my unit because I have
So
neighbors.
is it mold free now?
No, because even though they went in and did work in that unit, which I have witnesses who are more than willing to go to court and testify, they still found mold in that unit.
Mm-hmm.
But their mold report says that it's not enough for them to have to decontaminate. But it also says at the bottom that that their mold report cannot be used for legal purposes, and they have.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore the RTB ruled against me, and I did a review consideration. And I even asked, mold doesn't disappear, mold actually gets worse. So unless you remove the mold, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know that you have been struggling, trying to reach out to the government. You're trying to reach out to the MLAs.
yes,
What's the report on that? Did somebody try to help you?
I have not heard back from Mike Farnworth. I have not heard back from David Eby. I have not heard back from Ravi Callon. I have not heard back from Harry Baines. I have not heard back from Sue Dollywell. I have not heard back from Brenda Bailey. I have not heard back from Benita Zarillo. We went to see Benita, I believe, last week, or no, this week, a couple days ago. We did go see Jagmeet Singh's office. Donalda did call Red Door on my behalf. Like I said, Ken Faulkner called her, said that they had already decontaminated my belongings, but they hadn't. And then he told her that they would do it if I signed my heirs' rights away,
Wow.
which I'm unwilling to do. I should not have to sign my heirs' rights away to have mold-free belongings.
Mm-hmm.
And now the deadline is February 21st at 1 p.m. I either collect my belongings or they're going to throw them in the garbage. And it's unsafe for me to bring them to my home.
Wow. So, which area of Surrey is this building at?
It was at Cougar Creek.
Cougar Creek.
Yes.
Wow.
So 68th and 121st
So
Street.
that's in Newton.
Yes. Which is Harry Baines' riding.
Right. And Harry Baines has not responded
Nothing.
to you.
Nothing. No matter how many times I've gone into Harry's office, his staff has been really nice, but Harry has never met with me. He's never called. He's never emailed me. He's never done anything to help. And I still tweet him as well. I'm very active on X, on Twitter. I email a lot, and I've received no response.
Did the staff at Harry Baines' office help you?
They were really nice, but no, I've received no help from them. But they were very polite.
खैर दोस्तों, जाना मार्टिन है जो अपने बिलोंगिंग्स के बारे में बात कर रही है, एंड दिस इज़ समथिंग हम लोगों को सुनना चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारे जो MLAs है, हमारे एरियाज़ के जो MLAs है, उनको इन बात को समझना चाहिए कि किस दौर से एक आम इंसान गुज़र रहे हैं. और इस वक्त आप सभी को पता है कि हाउसिंग क्राइसिस चल रही है, इतना ज़्यादा इश्यूज़ आ रहे हैं. क्या हमारे MLAs इतना काम नहीं कर सकते लोगों के लिए? वो कुछ और ज़्यादा तो नहीं मांग रही है. वो कहती है कि जो मेरे बिलोंगिंग्स है उनको साफ़ सुथरा बना दो, क्योंकि मॉल में वो उनकी जो बिलोंगिंग्स है बड़े डैमेज हुए हैं, थिंग्स हैव हैपन, तो वो चाहती है कि उसे साफ़ सुथरा बना दो तो मैं लेकर जाऊँ यहाँ से. पर डिकॉन्टेमिनेट करना नहीं चाहते ये लोग. क्या इनकी वजह क्या होगी, इसके बारे में बातचीत हो रहे. वापस आते हैं जी कुछ व्यापारिक संदेशों के बाद.
ਐਕਸਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਐਂਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ PR ਲਈ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਆਈਡੀਆ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਨਵਨੀਤ ਸ਼ਰਮਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੋ ਕਾਲ 604 597 1119 ਤੇ BC ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ PNP ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਸਕੈਚੁਅਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ SINP ਦੇ ਲਈ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ। ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ ਐਪਲੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਫਾਈਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ। ਸਟੱਡੀ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ, ਵਰਕ ਪਰਮਿਟ, ਮੈਰਿਜ, LMIA ਐਪਲੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ, ਓਨਰ ਆਪਰੇਟਰ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਐਪਲੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ, ਕੇਅਰ ਗਿਵਰ ਨੈਨੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਆਈਡੀਆ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਦਫ਼ਤਰ ਸਰੀ ਕਲੋਨਾ ਤੇ ਰਜ਼ਾਈਨਾ ਵਿਖੇ ਨੇ। ਸਰੀ ਦਾ ਦਫ਼ਤਰ ਯਾਰਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਵਿਖੇ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਨੰਬਰ 209 7928 128 ਸਟੇਟ 604 597 1119 ਆਈਡੀਆ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ।
ਘਰ ਦਾ ਪਲਾਨ ਤੇ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ, ਟੂਟੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਟੱਬ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ ਸ਼ੇਰਿਆ?
ਸਰਦਾਰ ਨਾਰਥ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਤੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਹੈ HD ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ। ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨੀ।
ਕਮਾਓ ਏ ਫੋਨ 604 231 9592।
ਹੁਣੇ ਲਓ ਸਰਦਾਰ 604 231 9592।
ਆਪਣੇ ਡ੍ਰੀਮ ਹਾਊਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਾਥਰੂਮ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਚਨ ਦੀ ਯੂਨੀਕ ਲੁੱਕ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਗੇੜਾ HTA ਦੇ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਸਿੰਪਸਨ ਅਤੇ ਬ੍ਰਿਜਪੋਰਟ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨਰ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਮਾਰੋ। ਕਾਲ HTA 604 231 9592।
ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਮਾਮਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਹੀ ਸਲਾਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹਿੱਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਕਰਵਾਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਲਈ ਨਿਊ ਵਰਲਡ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਦੇ ਬਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਜੀਤ ਬਾਸੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੋ ਕਾਲ 604 572 4000। ਇਹ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਸਲਟੈਂਟ ਤੇ ICCRC ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਨੇ ਔਰ 2011 ਤੋਂ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਹਰ ਮਸਲੇ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਕਰੋ ਕਾਲ 604 575 8000, ਯੂਨਿਟ ਨੰਬਰ 403 83 18 120 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਸਰੀ, ਜਾਂ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ www.newworldcanada.ca।
ਖੱਕਾ ਖੱਕਾ ਗੱਗਾ ਖੱਕਾ ਘਰ। ਪਾਪਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਘਰ ਕਦੋਂ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ?
ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਘਰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੈ?
ਉਹ ਪੁੱਤਰਾ ਹੁਣ ਗੱਲ ਬਣ ਗਈ। ਮੈਂ ਪਲੈਨਟ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਰਿਐਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਢੁੱਡੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਈ ਹੈ। ਵਧੀਆ ਡੀਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਦੇਣਗੇ। ਕੰਸਟਰਕਸ਼ਨ ਅਤੇ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਸਿਰਦਰਦੀ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਬਚਾਂਗੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੰਸਟਰਕਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ 15 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਤਜਰਬਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਪਾਸ ਲੈਂਗਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 1600 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 2100 ਸਕੁਅਰ ਫੁੱਟ ਬਣੇ ਟਾਊਨ ਹੋਮ ਵੀਲ ਚੇਅਰ ਐਕਸੈਸਿਬਲ ਹਨ। ਚਾਹੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਲੀਵੇਟਰ ਵੀ ਲਗਵਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਫਰਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੋਮ ਖਰੀਦਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ? ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰੋ। ਰੀਅਲ ਸਟੇਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਸਟ ਡੀਲ ਲੈਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਢੁੱਡੀਕੇ 604 716 8570 604 716 8570।
बिरयानी, गोट कढ़ाई, निहारी चिकन कढ़ाई, बाबा की बीफ कबाब कढ़ाई।
ਕਿਹੜਾ ਖਾਣ ਪੀਣ ਦਾ ਮੰਤਰ ਪੜ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ?
ਇਹ ਮੰਤਰ ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਚਿਕਨ ਦੇ ਡਿਸ਼ਸ ਦਾ ਹੈ। ਚਾਹੇ वो बिरयानी हो या फिर गोट कढ़ाई, कल दे डिनर भूल नहीं सकती। अभी भी हाथों से खुशबू नहीं जा रही।
ਹਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਚਿਕਨ ਦਾ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਪੀ ਗ੍ਰਿਲਡ ਚਿਕਨ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਤੰਦੂਰੀ ਚਿਕਨ, ਵਿੰਗਸ, 버ਗਰ, ਪੈਰੀ ਪੈਰੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਸਵਾਦ ਨੇ। ਪਹੁੰਚੋ 8223 120th ਸਟਰੀਟ ਡਲਟ ਵਾਲੇ ਪਾਸੇ। ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਨੰਬਰ 2364661119।
ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਚਿਕਨ ਦੀ ਬਿਰਿਆਨੀ ਖਾਓਗੇ, ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਬਿਰਿਆਨੀ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਓਗੇ। ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਚਿਕਨ।
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੇਚੀਦਾ ਕਾਨੂੰਨੀ ਮਸਲਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਉਲਝੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੋ? ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਹਿਦ ਹਨੀਫ ਪਾਸ ਕੰਪਲਿਕੇਟਡ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਤੇ ਰੈਗੂਲੇਟਰੀ ਲਾਅ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਪੁਖਤਾ ਤਜਰਬਾ ਹੈ। ਅਗਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਤਫਤੀਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਕੋਡ ਦੇ ਅੰਤਰਗਤ ਚਾਰਜ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ, ਡੈਂਟਿਸਟ, ਫਾਰਮਾਸਿਸਟ, ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰਿੰਗ ਵਰਗੇ ਲਾਇਸੈਂਸਡ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਗਵਰਨਿੰਗ ਬਾਡੀ ਤੋਂ ਡਿਸਪਲਿਨਰੀ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਨੈਗਲੀਜੈਂਸੀ ਦੇ ਵਿਕਟਮ ਹੋ, ਤਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਹਨੀਫ ਲਿਟੀਗੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਹਿਦ ਹਨੀਫ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੋ ਕਾਲ 604 626 3144।
For all your legal criminal matters, call Shahid Hanif of Hanif Litigation 604-626-3144। ਹਾਊਸ ਵਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਿਗਾਹ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਬਲਾਈਂਡਸ ਵਾਲੀ ਸੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਪਤਾ ਇਹ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਸਜਾਵਟ ਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਬਲਾਈਂਡਸ ਦਾ ਕਮਾਲ ਹੈ।
ਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਬਲਾਈਂਡਸ ਦੇ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਿਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖਣ ਤੇ ਖਰੀਦਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਇਕਲੌਤੇ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਯੂਰ ਨੰਬਰ 14 13478 78th ਐਵਨਿਊ 604-503-7007 ਤੇ ਕਰੋ ਕਾਲ। ਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਬਲਾਈਂਡਸ ਦੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਵਾਲੇ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ 3705 ਅਵਰਨ ਵੇ, ਅਵਰਨ, ਵਾਸ਼ਿੰਗਟਨ 2533217007 ਜਾਂ greatblindscanada.com ਤੇ ਕਰੋ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ।
ਘਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ लो, पर्दा ग्रेट ब्लाइंड्स तो ही लवाओ। जी दोस्तों, आप सुन रहे www.mwlive.ca। आज का ये प्रोग्राम आप तक पहुंचा रहे हैं अपने भाइयों का अपना फार्मेसी, फैमिली केयर फार्मेसी, कम्युनिटी के अपना फार्मेसी है ये। हर तरह की मेडिसिन आप यहाँ से ले सकते हैं, वाइटमिन्स हो या सप्लीमेंट, हर्बल मेडिसिन भी यहाँ पर मौजूद है। होम्योपैथिक डॉक्टर अवेलेबल है हफ्ते के 7 दिन। वॉकर व्हीलचेयर मैक्सिमम कवरेज आपके दवाइयों का 3 लोकेशंस हैं इनके 8925 स्कॉट रोड डेल्टा या 128 स्ट्रीट 96 एवेन्यू सरी या 1539 जॉनसन रोड वाइट रॉक फैमिली केयर फार्मेसी। इनको आप फ़ोन भी कर सकते हो ज़्यादा जानकारी के लिए 604 5990211 या 604-581-1900। ये आपके दवाइयाँ आपके घर के दरवाजे तक भी पहुँचाते हैं। ज़्यादा जानकारी के लिए 604-5990211 या 604-581-1900। किसी भी तरह के कानूनी मसले में फंस गए हों, कॉम्प्लेक्स लीगल मैटर है, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड क्रिमिनल या रेगुलेटरी लॉ मैटर्स है, तो कॉल करो जी हनीफ लिटिगेशन के शाहिद हनीफ को 604-626-3144। अगर किसी भी तरह के इन्वेस्टिगेशन पुलिस कर रहे हैं आप पर या आपको क्रिमिनल चार्जेस आप पे लगे हुए हैं और आपके क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस अंडर द क्रिमिनल कोड है, लाइसेंस प्रोफेशनल है आप जैसे कि डॉक्टर, फार्मासिस्ट, इंजीनियर और डील कर रहे डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शंस पर, तो आपके लिए शाहिद हनीफ लिटिगेशन ज़रूर आपको कॉल करना चाहिए। अगर आप विक्टिम है रेगुलेटरी लॉ का तो भी आप कॉल कीजिए हनीफ लिटिगेशन के वकील शाहिद हनीफ को 604-626-3144 604-626-3144। और घर में कोई शादी ब्याह है, कोई पार्टी है, किसी तरह के भी अरेंजमेंट करना चाहते हो तो रंगोली केटरिंग एंड स्वीट्स लिमिटेड वालों को कॉल करो। समर में अगर पार्टी है, पार्टी चाहे घर पे है, गुरुद्वारा, मंदिर, मस्जिद या फिर पार्क में है, किसी तरह के भी गैदरिंग के लिए आप कोई भी खाने का इंतज़ाम करना चाहते हो, केटरिंग का इंतज़ाम करना चाहते हो तो ज़रूर कॉल करो रंगोली केटरिंग एंड स्वीट्स लिमिटेड वालों को 604-614-3536 604-576-0525। शादी ब्याह है, कोई भी फंक्शन है, बेस्ट फूड बेस्ट सर्विसेज के लिए आज ही कॉल करो रंगोली केटरिंग एंड स्वीट्स 604-614-3536 या 604-576-0525। और इनके जो वेट्रेसेस है वो यूनिफॉर्म पहनकर आप सभी को सर्व करेंगे। बेस्ट मेन्यू है इनका रंगोली केटरिंग एंड स्वीट्स लिमिटेड। आप सुन रहे हैं दोस्तों www.mwlive.ca और आज हमारे साथ मेहमान है, बातचीत कर रहे हैं हाउसिंग इश्यूज़ के लोअर मेनलैंड में किस तरह से लोग सफ़र कर रहे हैं। कम्युनिटी एडवोकेट है जाना मार्टिन, जिनसे आज हम बातचीत कर रहे हैं। और जाना से दूसरा जो सवाल हम पूछने जा रहे हैं कि वो क्या सोचती है कि उनके साथ ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है। Janna, would you like to tell our listeners, last 4 years, as you have been struggling to get your items, and you have talked to many of the MLAs, which you never got an answer back or did not get anything out of it. What was the experience of yours talking to Minister Ravi Kalo's people?
We've gone to, Jaskaran Singh Gill and I have gone to Ravi Kalan's office a couple times, and we found his staff to be a little short with us, not really understanding the situation, or because I'm no longer a North Delta resident, even though I was raised in North Delta. My family's from North Delta. My mom graduated from NDSS. My brother graduated from NDSS. My niece graduated from Delview. We have a long, over 50-year history with North Delta.
Well, he's a North Delta MLA, but he's a housing minister,
He is
so
the
he's
housing
for
minister.
everybody in BC.
Exactly. And when you go to constituency offices, they will tell you, well, you're not our constituents. But they are still the Minister of Housing, they are still the Minister of Education, they are still the Attorney General. So why do citizens have to go to Victoria to their office to go and get help when their offices are here? So it's not only is it expensive, but it's also time consuming.
Right.
And it's an obstruction of justice, because if Ravi's office is in North Delta, which is easy to get to, and Nikki Sharma's is in Vancouver, which is easy to get to, why do we as citizens who pay their bills and pay their salaries have to go to Victoria to access them when their offices are here?
Just like you, Jana, do you think there are many other people out there who are going through the same issues?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been contacted, and Elizabeth Sabitnoff have been contacted by so many people who are in similar situations, whether they're in Red Door Housing Society or Macola Housing or BC Housing Buildings, Entre New Femme Buildings. There are so many that are under the BC Housing umbrella where they've been allowed the buildings have been allowed to be neglected, the tenants have nowhere to go for help, they're living in mold, vermin. I talked to one lady in a BC housing building, and her whole place is overrun by rats, and she tries to get help, but there's nobody to help her. And I know, as someone who's been trying to get help for years, I've gone to Class, Track, Rise, Sources, Options, Access Pro Bono, the list goes on. There's not enough funding to the organizations to help everybody that needs to be helped. So you're on your own pretty much if you're going to go to the RTB or to the Supreme Court if you want to file a judicial review. You're literally on your own. There's not enough resources given to the organizations that are supposed to help the people, and when they do, there's so many evictions for low-income people and marginalized people that all the resources go to people who are being evicted. So when you have a situation like I am, where I have a home that's precariously housed because I've stood up to my property management, so I never feel secure. I never know if they're going to try and evict me for some reason, even though my rent's always paid. It's always paid early. It's been paid early for over a decade. And I keep my house clean. We're good tenants. I'm very respectful to my manager. I'm respectful to all staff. I'm respectful to everybody that enters and exits the building. I'm a good neighbor. I'm a good tenant, and I always have been. And I pride myself on that. And I have landlords throughout my life who I'm still friends with, which shows that I'm a good tenant.
Right.
And yet I still live in that fear daily. Absolutely. Every single day I live in that fear. And I know, with seeing and talking to the homeless people in my area, because there's more and more, that it's not just people who are on drugs or addiction. I actually met a gentleman that has two professions, and he's homeless because he cannot find a job and he cannot find stable, affordable housing where that job will pay for his home. And I'm seeing more and more people that are professionals, that are ending up on the streets because of the lack of affordable housing. And yet we have so much affordable housing that sits empty. Ladner Willows, most of it sat empty for years because of their forced redevelopment. Why wouldn't they have kept it and rented out those homes? That would have been 30 plus more families that aren't homeless, or with rents where they have to decide, do they pay their rent or do they feed their children? And that's a reality. The reality of my old unit, it's been sitting empty since June. There's no reason why they wouldn't go in and do a complete and total retrofitting, remove all the mold, do it safely for the workers, safely for the new tenants coming in, and safely for their staff, and safely for the tenants that live in the complex. And that's the part that I don't understand. I'm here talking about health and safety, not only for my family, but for other families and for Red Door staff, because they shouldn't be exposed to things like mold and mice and stuff, because they have families to go home to as well. And when you've been exposed to mold,
protect yourself,
yes, and you're bringing mold and mycotoxins on your skin, on your clothes, and you're inhaling it, and it's a matter of health and safety. And to be told that I have to sign my heirs' rights away to have safe and healthy belongings, which were safe and healthy before I moved in there, to facing the fact that they're going to throw them in the garbage, and to be over a year without my medical equipment, as a person with disabilities and as a person with heart problems and as a person with as many illnesses that I have, even though I look healthy and able-bodied, there's over 20 things going on in this body, and one of them is cardiovascular. And I have a specific doctor who deals with that, and she said, because of my cardiovascular health and all my problems, I need my equipment to be mold decontaminated, and they still won't do it. I cannot put that on my face and in my lungs when it's been full of mold. It could kill me, and that's not fair. And with scoliosis, which I have as well, and mold, it can cause life-threatening pneumonia.
Right.
So not only do I have musculoskeletal issues that mixed with mold can kill me, and I've provided this evidence to them. I provided many, many doctors' letters. I've even stated I have a world-famous doctor, and if he says no mold, he means no mold, and they don't care.
That's very sad, Janna. I also would like to know, you have talked to many of the current MLAs
Yes.
and ministers, the current government, NDP. Have you tried talking to the opposition about this?
I've tried talking to everybody. Everybody.
I know you once mentioned to me that you were in talks with Trevor Halford.
Yes, we've met Trevor Halford via Zoom twice. Sadly, nothing came out of it. We went to see Mike Farnworth several times at his office. We spoke with his CA at the time, Glenn. Glenn tried. He did try, but nothing came of that. We had a phone conversation with Mike Farnworth, which ended up being manipulated. He even stated that the call was being manipulated, which meant that it was being hacked. So Jazz Karn and I could not hear properly or speak properly. Yes, and Mike acknowledged that. In a follow-up email, several emails actually, we asked if he would investigate that because that's a security issue, it's a security risk.
Yes.
He never did.
Wow, that's really interesting. Janna, I do understand that what you're going through, and many people are going through the same thing. And our government, BC government, which is NDP at this moment, they're not listening to you.
No.
They're not doing anything. And you said for the last 4 years they have been in government, and they should have responded to you. They should have done something about your issues. But as usual, when these non-profit organizations come over where the government does the funding and grants, I mean, I'm dealing with one of them too. It's PICS, Progressive Intercultural Community Services, where all the funds are being given by the government or the public, our taxpayers' dollars. And there's a lot of issues that our community has with this organization. One of our seniors, who was 80 plus years, she donated to this organization, and that money went to the CEO's nephew's account, who happens to be the head of the Department of Finance at PICS. And it went to his personal account, and when this senior received her visa bill, she didn't see the word PICS on there. She saw the name of the nephew there.
That's
So
disgusting.
yes, so she complained, she talked about it, and she came on air. She was at the protest as well. She's so old, but she came out to discuss about it. But PICS has not done anything about it, and PICS does not acknowledge that, and our BC government, NDP government, does not acknowledge that. And we had talks with many of the MLAs, and they just the answer they have is PICS is our baby, because it's NDP's set up organization. So they said, "Oh, PICS is our baby. We cannot shut
so that
down
gives
PICS."
them the right to take money from an 80-year-old woman
Exactly,
and not even refund her
And
money?
lately, what happened was this organization, PICS, they had their Christmas party in 2022. And that Christmas party, one of the program directors or coordinators from PICS was at the party, and he's very educated. He has a PhD degree. And next on line, he could be the CEO, because everybody was calling that out for him to be the next CEO of PICS, because he was very honest and humble guy. But this staff party of PICS was at a banquet hall, and PICS had a license, a liquor license for that event. Not PICS, but it was under one of the employees of PICS. And they actually served alcohol, not saying how drunk people were getting. This guy had many drinks, and he got really drunk, intoxicated. It was a snowy evening, night, and one of the employees went to drop him at his home. The employee who went to drop him was intoxicated as well. So they're doing so many things which is against the law.
Yeah, illegal and dangerous.
And then he dropped him at the driveway, and the guy got up from the car and he slipped and he fell in the driveway. And this employee was so intoxicated he didn't even call for help. He didn't even, stay there with him to get the help. So this guy was there for a while, and then he got when help came out to him, he was already unconscious. He was in coma for about 6 months, and then he couldn't
Wow.
revive and he died. So who's responsible for this? NDP government does not care. So the family have filed a lawsuit against PICS
Yeah, absolutely.
because
Good on them.
they think PICS is responsible for the father's death.
They're complicit in his death. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so these kind of organizations, which are the government actually supports these organizations, and this is one of the things that NDP government should take seriously. And if they don't take it seriously, we voters in the election are going to take it seriously.
Absolutely.
And what you are going through, what other people are going through, I believe that these non-profit organizations have got a pattern that they receive grants, they receive funds, but they do not care where these funds are going, how this is being helping, what programs are there any programs. Recently there was a program at PICS about international students and International Students Union. There was money given out. Where did that money go to? How did they help the international students? There's a lot of questions coming out for this non-profit organization, and this NDP government has their mind blocked from the questions of the public. They don't listen. They don't do anything about it. And I'm very, I mean, it's really sad to say that this is the government who said they were there for the people.
I have not seen that. In 4 years, I have not seen that. When I started this journey, Selena Robinson was the Minister of Housing, and she did absolutely nothing. And then it was EB, and it's gone on. And all I've seen is that lawyers have been hired to fight me as a disabled single parent and a person of color. I have watched as my belongings are not even with me. I've had to launch several legal actions by myself without lawyers, and I would like to know where the money goes that they get for maintenance, because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it when I lived at Cougar Creek. I had to put in 8 maintenance requests to get my fridge fixed, and they still didn't fix it. It took years to have a proper working fridge. I have a friend who still lives at Cougar Creek. She has been there for over 8 years. Her house has been infested with mice despite going through a retrofitting, and she's put in so many maintenance requests to have her carpet removed, and they don't do it. And she's been there since her daughter was a baby. And I've gone to visit, and I've seen mice crawling everywhere, and they refuse to even remove and change her carpet. Something as simple as that. But they have money to pay lawyers. And when I was doing my RTB hearing, the executive director got mad at me because they had to spend so much money on storing my belongings and paying their lawyers, as if it was my fault that they didn't do proper maintenance, and as if it was my fault that they didn't decontaminate my belongings, and as if it was my fault that they haven't rented out the unit yet. Instead of taking accountability with taxpayers' money, they blame the tenants, and that is unfair and cruel.
Well, yes, that is so true. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
ਮੀਟ ਦੀ ਵੈਰਾਈਟੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਹੀ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਕੱਚਾ ਮੀਟ ਸ਼ਾਪ ਤੇ, ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਕਿ ਫਰੈਸ਼ ਤੇ ਮੈਰੀਨੇਟਡ ਮੀਟ ਦੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਵੈਰਾਈਟੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਵੈਜੀਟੇਰੀਅਨਸ ਲਈ ਵੈਜੀ ਪਨੀਰ ਟਿੱਕਾ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਆਈਟਮਸ ਨੇ। ਕੱਚਾ ਮੀਟ ਸ਼ਾਪ ਦੀਆਂ 18 ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਤੇ ਜਾਓ। ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀਕਐਂਡ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਹੈ, ਇਕੱਠ ਹੈ, ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੀਟ ਖਰੀਦਣਾ ਚਾਹੋ 18 ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਔਰ ਨੇੜੇ ਦੀ ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਜਾਣਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਕੱਚਾ ਮੀਟ ਸ਼ਾਪ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕੱਚਾ ਮੀਟ ਸ਼ਾਪ। ਭਰੋਸੇਯੋਗ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਲਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਫਾਰਮੇਸੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਕੇਅਰ ਫਾਰਮੇਸੀ। ਇੱਥੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ, ਵਿਟਾਮਿਨ, ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟ, ਹਰਬਲ ਮੈਡੀਸਨ, ਵਾਕਰ, ਵੀਲਚੇਅਰ, ਬ੍ਰੈਸਟ ਪੰਪ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਕਸਿਮਮ ਕਵਰੇਜ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਲਕਿ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ ਤੇ ਬਲਿਸਟਰ ਪੈਕ ਵੀ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤਾਂ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸਵੇਰੇ 7 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੇ 8 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਤਿੰਨੋਂ ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ 8925 ਸਕਾਟ ਰੋਡ, ਡੈਲਟਾ, 6045990211, 128 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਐਂਡ 96 ਐਵਨਿਊ, 6045811900, 1539 ਜੌਨਸਨ ਰੋਡ, ਵਾਈਟ ਰੌਕ। ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਕੇਅਰ ਫਾਰਮੇਸੀ।
ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਹੈ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਫਰਨੀਚਰ ਨਵੀਂ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ ਖੁੱਲ ਗਿਆ। ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਪੂਰੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਫਰਨੀਚਰ ਮੈਂ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਫਰਨੀਚਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣੀ ਆ।
ਲੈ ਗੋਲੀ ਕਿਹਦੀ ਤੇ ਗਹਿਣੇ ਕਿਹਦੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਓ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਮੁਕਤ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਨਪਸੰਦ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਫਰਨੀਚਰ ਹੁਣ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਗੜ 12743 80th ਐਵਨਿਊ ਨਵੀਂ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ ਖੁੱਲ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਹੈ। ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਫਰਨੀਚਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਔਰ ਮਿਸਿਸ ਸੂਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੋ ਕਾਲ 604-572-5553। ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਫਰਨੀਚਰ।
ਰੋਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੌਲਟ, ਸੈਕਸ਼ੂਅਲ ਅਸੌਲਟ, ਥੈਫਟ, ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਆਫੈਂਸਸ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਬੜੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀਜ਼ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਗਊਮਾਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਚਾਲਬਾਜ਼ ਲੋਕ ਸਾਊ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਫਸਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਚਾਰजेस ਲਗਵਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ।
ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਚਾਰजेस ਦਾ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਵਕੀਲ ਜੋ 4 ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ BC, ਅਲਬਰਟਾ, ਮੈਨੀਟੋਬਾ, ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁੰਝਲਦਾਰ ਕੇਸਸ ਜਿੱਤੇ ਹਨ, ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਲਾਇਰ ਗਗਨ ਨਾਹਲ।
ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਰੋ ਕਾਲ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਕੇਸ ਜਿੱਤਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਹਰ ਵਕੀਲ ਗਗਨ ਨਾਹਲ ਨੂੰ 604-527 4769 6625 A ਸਟਰੀਟ, ਸਰੀ।
For all criminal charges, call Gagan Nahal 604-527-4769.
ਹੈਲੋ,
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੋ?
ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਆ ਯਾਰ, ਦੱਸ।
ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਦਾ ਨਾ 132 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਤੇ ਛੋਟਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੋਲੀਜਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਵਾਂ। ਨਾਲੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਬਲੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਟ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ।
ਦੇਖ, ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਬਚਾ ਕਰਤਾ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ। ਨਾਲੇ ਜੋ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਬਲੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਟ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਬਲੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਟ ਆਟੋ ਬੋਡੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਈਨ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਗੱਡੀ ਬਲੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਟ ਆਟੋ ਬੋਡੀ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਜਾ। ਬਲੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਟ ਆਟੋ ਬੋਡੀ ICBC ਅਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟਡ ਅਤੇ ਫੁੱਲ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਆਟੋ ਬੋਡੀ ਸ਼ਾਪ ਹੈ। ਪਹੁੰਚੋ 7823 132 ਸਟਰੀਟ, ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਕਾਲ 6045030988। ਬਲੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਟ ਆਟੋ ਬੋਡੀ।
कल सारे बड़े खुश सी।
होना क्यों नहीं खुश, पेट जो उनके खुश थे बानीज कढ़ाई वाला के डिशेस के साथ। बेस्ट कढ़ाई डिशेस ओनली एट बानीज कढ़ाई वाला। लाहौरी कढ़ाई, अचारी कढ़ाई, कबाब कढ़ाई।
बस बस हुण नहीं रह जांदा। बार्नीज कढ़ाई वाला है किथे?
अपने सरी पिंड ते 8140 स्ट्रीट, second location 12889 84th Avenue, Surrey. Phone number 7785654416. चिकन, लैम, वेज कढ़ाई, नॉन वेज करी, हर किस्म के एपेटाइजर्स, नान, स्टफ्ड चिकन और लैम नान, बिरयानी, इनके डिशेस का क्या कहना। एक बार ट्राई करोगे बानीस कढ़ाई वाला कभी नहीं भूलोगे। आप खुश, बानीस कढ़ाई वाला खुश। जी दोस्तों, आज का ये प्रोग्राम आप तक पहुंचा रहे पायल चाट हाउस, जो पहला रेस्टोरेंट है हमारे सरी ब्यूटीफुल ब्रिटिश कोलंबिया में, जो हफ्ते के 24 दिन, माफ़ कीजिए, जो दिन के 24 घंटे खुले होते हैं और आप यहाँ से बेस्ट पराठा ले सकते हैं। सुबह 4 बजे से लेकर 11 बजे के दरमियान आप फ्रेश पराठा, होममेड पराठा ले सकते हो पायल चाट हाउस से। माउथ वाटरिंग नॉन वेज एंड वेज डिशेस इनके पास है और कहते हैं कि सरी में सबसे बेस्ट गोट मीट अगर खाना हो तो पायल चाट हाउस पर पहुंचो। स्पेशल केटरिंग ये आपको करवा के देते हैं। 100 पीपल के कांटेक्ट करो हरनेक को 604-518-7444 या पायल चाट हाउस पर ज़रूर कांटेक्ट करो 604-596-1990। पायल चाट हाउस पायल बिजनेस सेंटर में जो 24 घंटे खुले होते हैं, यानी दिन हो या रात, तो पायल चाट हाउस पे पहुंचो और आपको स्वादिष्ट डिशेस जो है वो तैयार मिलेगा। और इसके साथ साथ आपको ये बता दें कि अगर आप ट्रक ड्राइवर हो और नौकरी की तलाश कर रहे हैं तो लोकल एंड लॉन्ग हॉल के लिए ट्रक ड्राइवर्स की ज़रूरत है। 1 साल के एक्सपीरियंस होना ज़रूरी है। ड्राइवर के लिए आप कॉल कर सकते हो 604-725-4259 604-725-4259। और कहते हैं कि लॉन्ग हॉल ड्राइवर्स के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा पे है और पर माइल ये आपको पे करेंगे। एक बार फिर 604-725-4259। इसके साथ साथ आपके तक ये प्रोग्राम पहुंचाने के लिए हमारी मदद कर रहे हैं, यानी स्पॉन्सर्स है क्रिमिनल लॉयर गगन नाहल। हर तरह के क्रिमिनल चार्जेस के लिए एक ही नाम याद रखो, गगन नाहल। 604-527-4769। सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट हो, थेफ्ट और ड्राइविंग ऑफेंसेस हो, बेस्ट रिजल्ट्स आपको दिलाते हैं क्रिमिनल लॉयर गगन नाहल। इन्होंने चार प्रोविंसेस में कॉम्प्लिकेटेड क्रिमिनल केसेस जीत चुके हैं, BC, अल्बर्टा, मैनिटोबा और ओंटारियो में। क्रिमिनल लॉयर गगन नाहल 604-527-4769 या विजिट करो 6625 152 A स्ट्रीट सरी। गगन नाहल क्रिमिनल लॉयर। इसके साथ साथ HTA प्रोडक्ट्स, घर बना रहे हो और रेनोवेट कर रहे हो, बेस्ट और हाई एंड ब्रांड नेम प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए प्लम्बिंग का कोई भी सामान चाहिए, HTA प्रोडक्ट्स को ज़रूर विजिट करो रिचमंड, वैंकूवर, सरी शोरूम्स पर। आप इनके सरी शोरूम विजिट कर सकते हो 7985 132nd स्ट्रीट पर। बेस्ट प्राइस और सर्विस देते हैं HTA प्रोडक्ट्स वाले। ज़्यादा जानकारी के लिए साबी औलक को फ़ोन कीजिए 604-728-5339 604-728-5339। और अब आप सभी के साथ जाना मार्टिन के साथ ये जो प्रोग्राम है आगे बढ़ाते हैं।